guys, today I have a special treat. I am in the presence of Charlycheer, a very well-known YouTuber for years now, and we've done a collaboration. The first video we did is called Black in Korea, Positive Experiences. This video, I want to ask her a few questions about her journey and her experiences traveling abroad. But first, can you introduce yourself?
Hello everybody, I'm Charlie. You want to know a little bit about me?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, if you haven't been to my channel, I do videos about traveling and food. I do a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Because I like a lot of things. Food videos, travel videos, especially traveling in Korea and Mexico. I love traveling, I love learning languages, and I love eating food.
Okay. You were the first person, woman of color on YouTube to document travels, the most well-known person on YouTube. How did you know that you wanted to travel abroad, and what was the motivating factor that made you just do it? That didn't block you, just said go? Yeah.
Well, I've always enjoyed languages, and learning languages was kind of the push for me to go abroad, specifically to Korea. I love languages and I love learning about other cultures, and I decided that the best way for me to learn about another culture is to get out of this element that I'm usually in and to actually go and experience it for myself. Because it's great to learn a language in your home country, to eat the foods that they eat over there, here, but it's another thing when you actually get out of the element that you're used to and experience it firsthand. You know, you can always hear people talking about the things that they ate abroad, or you can hear it from someone else, but it's another thing to actually go do it.
Right.
So I'm a person that likes to do the things. You know, I'm a very hands-on person. So the best way for me to learn a language, the best way for me to understand another culture is for me to go do it.
Right.
So I'm very much a do it kind of person.
Okay.
And I try to get that out on video to inspire other people to do the same thing.
Okay. You document it, because that was my next part of the question.
Okay.
What made you document it? Because you have like, what, like 500, 1,000 videos?
I don't know.
At least.
I think about 1,000
At
something.
least, yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you document it on YouTube? Like specifically, when I was researching going to Korea, the one video that I even put on my blog was Black hair salon in Korea. So you have lots of views, you have lots of subscribers, but what made you want to share your experience on YouTube?
Well, I like talking. I just like to talk and share my experiences with other people, whether it's in person, one-on-one, or on the camera, and it's what I like to do. It was always about having fun. That's my biggest joy in life, is to have fun. So why not do what I enjoy doing, which is to talk, to be in front of the camera, and to share my experiences with other people. So this is, it never started out as something I want to be famous, or I want to get my face on like the screen or anything just for like fame or anything like that. It was always, this is what I like to do. I want to share my success, my failures with other people and inspire them to, I'm not someone who's rich, even though a lot of people think I am. I'm not someone who has had it made from childhood or anything like that. But I want to show you that even though we come from backgrounds of all different kinds, we can do whatever we want to do if we really get out and do it.
Right. You said a little bit that you ended up in Korea because of the language. Is that the only reason why you ended up in Korea? Like, why Korea first? Because that was the first place you went, right?
Yeah.
So why Korea first? Why not Japan or China?
Well, the story is kind of funny. I was actually supposed to be going to China first.
Okay.
I had a roommate who, she was an old roommate. She contacted me and told me she was in China. And she actually told me that she was teaching in China and like the perks of teaching abroad and how, you know, she was really enjoying it. And she told me, you know, I know you're into Korean language because I used to watch Korean dramas And I watched the dramas not because I was like a drama fan. I love the language. That's how it drew me in. So she contacted me because she knew that I loved Asia in particular. And she told me, you know what, I'm going to let you stay here if you want, and I can help you find a teaching job. If you want to stay with me, you can see if the company that I'm working through is open for any positions. If not, I can help you look elsewhere. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, I jumped into it. I put in my 2 weeks notice. I did it more like a month or so. And I told my boss, you know, I'm going to Asia. I'm going to get into teaching. I started thinking about changing my major. I'm the kind of person that if there's something I want to do and it sounds good, I'm going to jump into it. But sometimes that's not the best idea because, because actually the biggest lesson that I learned in all of this is that I can depend on myself. Because 2 weeks before my flight, she actually bailed on me. She messaged me and she said, I'm not going to help you. She didn't tell me why. She didn't tell me anything. She just said, I'm not going to help you.
Is this real life?
This is real life. I'm not telling you a story. Yeah.
2 weeks before?
2 weeks before my flight to China. And so I was thinking, what am I going to do? I don't speak Chinese. I don't know how to get around in China. I don't know what I'm going to do. I already put in my notice for work. All of this. So I ended up putting everything together. I said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do this. Instead of going to China, what I'm going to do is cancel my flight. I'm going to look into going to Korea because since I'm already learning the language, at that time I was already learning the language and I was just really interested in Korea. So I looked into it and I didn't have my degree. So it's illegal to teach in Korea without a degree. So I was on the hunt. I was looking and looking and looking for a job away. You know, a way to get abroad, teaching in Korea, like a loophole. And so I found the talk program and I got my TESOL certificate and I told my boss, that I was going to stay a little bit longer. I seriously only stayed for like 2 months longer. It wasn't that much time difference. So I worked really fast. I did my TESOL really fast. They give you 6 months. I think I did it in like a month or a month and a half. I changed my major to teaching English language learner studies, and yeah, I got into the talk program, and that bad experience was actually a good experience because my life has been
2 weeks. Have you talked to her since?
No. I did thank her. I said thank you, you know, because you actually taught me something.
Right.
I can depend on myself.
Right.
And if there is something that I want to do, I can do it.
What has been your hair experiences while traveling abroad? Korea, Mexico, and anywhere else that you visited, but particularly, I would guess in Korea, maybe in Mexico too, but what have been your experiences because of your hair?
Okay, well, I'm a natural girl and I don't put any like chemical relaxers and things like that in my hair. I've never relaxed my hair, but my mom growing up, she's always straightened my hair with like the straightening flat iron, flat comb, hot comb, whatever, you name it. When I was in college, actually, I started getting braids, like the individual with the extensions. And then going to Korea, I actually did this type of style. And going there, I've never been actually the type of person that uses a lot of products in my hair. Okay. I'm not attached to one specific type of product. I'm very flexible. I'll wear my hair. Sometimes, like if you watch my older videos, you'll see like a really nappy, messy look. I just make it work. Throw a bow in it and you're good.
Accessorize it.
Yeah.
Work it out. So
in Korea, it's really difficult to find hair products for black people. Actually, the only place that I can find is in Itaewon. Yes. But they're really, really expensive, like overpriced. Like, it's like smuggling drugs or something. And so the best thing that I can say if you're attached to any hair products is to be in contact with someone who is in the States who can send you products, but also stock up on the products that you like. Take enough for 1 year if you can, because you're gonna miss it. But for me personally, I I use like a shea butter type thing, apple cider vinegar, a few oils like jojoba oil.
Right.
You can use coconut oil, but overall, like, I'm not attached to those products.
Did anyone make fun of you or make comments or like, you know, point and laugh and do anything negative that we would think someone of a different culture will do?
Yeah, I mean, in Korea, you get those pointing. Some people think it's completely cool, like,
right.
Oh my gosh, I love your hair, and they always want to touch it. And
do you let them touch it?
In Korea, okay, this is a lesson I learned. In Korea, I let them touch it, and in Mexico, I let them touch it. But I've learned the lesson that you need to be careful about who touches your hair, because you're getting all that negative, some people's negative energy.
Can't steal my energy.
If you watch my videos in Korea, you'll see that there were times where I was like cuckoo. Well, I'm always cuckoo. But I think I was just attaching a lot of people's negative energy. Well, there are a lot of reasons, my diet and all that stuff. But you have to be careful about who you let touch your hair, because you don't know what they've done before they touched your hair. You don't know what kind of person they are, and your hair is very powerful.
It's the truth. Yeah.
There are people who are going to not like your hair. They're gonna point. There's some, like, especially like even in Korea, pointing is kind of not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
So even if they're right by you, they'll just point. You just have to let it roll. There are days when you don't want to see anybody, you don't want to talk to anybody, all of that. But it's hard because you're in another country where you're different to everybody, pretty much. Even if they know someone who's similar to you, you're just another one that they can experience, you know? So you might get points. Some people might point and like do this.
Giggle.
Yeah.
Giggling is huge.
Yeah. So you really do have to have a thick skin, and it's hard because there are some days where it's fun. Like, people are curious about you, and you're like, oh hey, yeah, I'm different, and like, yeah, it's fun. But there are days when you just don't want to talk to anybody. Those bad days. We all have them. We don't want to be touched. We don't want to be talked to. We don't want to talk about, yes, I'm a foreigner from the US. My hair is like this. Yes, I have dark skin. No, you can't touch my skin right now. Things like that. In Mexico, actually, it's even harder to find natural hair products, even any black hair products in Mexico.
Really?
It's harder than Korea. And you would be surprised because you would think it's so close.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you cannot find black hair products in Mexico.
This question was sent from my grandmother.
Okay.
She wants to know, have you experienced, and if you have, how do you handle cultural frictions? So let's say, for instance, Korea. Have you experienced anything that they accept or that they do culturally that you had to partake in that goes against your own culture?
Okay. There are two things that I can say for sure that I found. One of them is religion, and the other is diet. Because I'm a vegan now, I was a vegetarian when I went there. The first thing I'll talk about is religion. When I went there, I was a Christian.
Right.
And now I'm a pagan.
Right.
So it's like, I went there and I learned more about the culture, and I was like, how is it that these people who are so kind, so loving, and so, you know, I was treated so well there. And it was my first time really spending an extended amount of time abroad. So that's where I changed my religion, or let go of my religion. And I went to a Buddhist temple once, and there was this man who, he probably was Christian or he probably was not. There was this lady who gave us apples, and we thought, well, he thought that the apples were given to us to go put on like a Buddha statue.
As offering.
And he was like, I'm not gonna put this on no Buddha. Or he was like being negative and all of that. And I was like, well, I'll take it, I'll do it. Like, what's, you know, like, it's not a big deal. You know, we should respect people's, you know, religion, and you don't have to practice it.
Right.
But you know, just don't be so negative. And so, but then she told us in Korean, that it was for food,
It's
for us.
a snack. It's a snack.
It was for us.
Yeah.
But I saw, like, being away helped me see how we can be when we're set in our religion or our beliefs, especially like the ones we were given growing up.
Yeah.
I realized how that can actually, it's worse. Like, you know, I don't know, I can't explain it, but you have to experience it for yourself. But you have to be open to experiencing that, because there are a lot of people who go abroad and they're trying to make people their religion and change people and tell them to go, they're going to hell. And I don't mean anything towards Christianity, because I know there are some really nice, good Christians, but the people who go abroad and try and change people's culture, that was the hardest part for me to see. Because I think the beauty of going abroad is, or even just different people and beliefs, is that we're so diverse. And the other thing is food.
Okay.
So being a vegetarian abroad, it's hard because, especially in Korea, well, in Mexico too, they want to give you food, and that's the culture, and a lot of our culture is around food. So people are insulted, or they feel like, how are you not going to eat this? I prepared it and I'm giving this to you. This is my last, or you know, something like that. And it's hard when you're like, I'm sorry, I don't eat meat. So it's hard because they might think you're thinking their diet is bad, or they're lower than you and things like that. And it's like a no judgment thing. It's for myself, but it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And the way I deal with it is just to explain to them, like, if it's something I can take, like for example, if in another culture, if they give me something, I'll just accept it. Maybe I won't eat it, but I'll accept it, and I'll tell them, thank you so much, you know, I'll take it, and then maybe I'll give it to somebody else.
But they don't watch you?
No, I mean,
if they offer it and they want to see like what you think, they don't watch you, like.
Oh, okay, like that. Like if they made a meal for me,
Yeah.
I'll just explain to them, oh, I don't eat this. I'll probably even just take it off of my meal.
Oh, okay.
If it's something like, for example, if they make me kimbap in Korea, if it has ham and things like that, I will try my best to let go of a few of my like vegetarian beliefs, and I'll take off the meat, I'll take off, now I'm vegan, so I would take off the cheese, and I would eat the rice and the seaweed. And just explain to them I'm a vegetarian or I'm a vegan, and accept what I can, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so I'll try that.
Okay.
But if it's meat, like full on something, I'll say, I'm
gapsa,
sorry,
yeah,
no. You have to be true to yourself and stick with your beliefs, but at the same time, it's okay to be open and flexible, because that's how life is. Sometimes things come up where maybe the only thing you can eat is kimbap and you have to take off the meat.
Yeah.
Just suck it up.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all you can, and I know that you think like a lot of vegans or vegetarian are so strict, but when you're traveling and you're in another culture, another country, you need to be respectful, and you also need to be flexible. So yeah.
Last question. What have you experienced as a traveler that you know you would have never experienced? And I'm not just saying like being there, like I was in Korea, I can't be in Korea, but I'm saying like what interactions, what encounters have you experienced firsthand that you know you could not experience in the States?
I feel like I've grown. It's not even about who I came, it's about everything actually. It's about who I came into contact with, challenges, everything has changed me and molded me to who I am now. But it's about growing for me. And I don't think I would be where I am now had I not left.
Okay.
So for me, I think you can meet people, you can see places, but the personal change, the personal growth is what is most valuable to me.
Okay.